So about that 65:24 aspect ratio that Fujifilm puts on a dedicated dial of the GFX100RF, and why I think it doesn't really matter in this day and age. As much as I don't really like to get technical about photography, I think this is a cool niche topic to talk about. So for a bunch of newcomers to the GFX format, especially those who's gonna buy their first camera and it's gonna be 100 RF, it's gonna be something new and different. But in fact, the panoramic ratios have been available to photographers for decades now. Before we go into the rabbit hole, here's a quiz for you. Here are the photos I took using different aspect ratios. Can you guess which one is which? And stay until the end to see how good you are at spotting them. The most notable examples from the film era for the panoramic cameras are the Fujifilm TX1 and the Hasselblad X-Pan, as you may already know, because these become so popular and still kind of expensive though. There were some other quirky cameras as well, like Horizon, for example, that moved the lens instead of dragging the film to take the panoramic shot. But that thing was super unreliable and was breaking up rather quickly, as well as some others, but that's not about that right now. In digital, we don't need to rely on the film material anymore. So we either have a native aspect ratio of the sensor or the crop from it. 3:2 and 4:3 are the native most popular on the digital cameras for photo. 16:9 and 16:10 are commonly used for video. There are others like 1:1, 5:3, 5:4, particularly used in the medium format realm, or Instagram, ironically. And some others like 20:9 or else, but those are all just crops from the native sensor aspect ratio. So why shoot 65:24 in particular? Well, except for the obvious, I just like it. Let's try to answer this question by looking at what you're gaining and what you're losing by shooting in this aspect ratio. I've shot the Fuji GFX100S with Fujinon 20-35 f4 for a few years, in 65:24 in particular. So I think I have some level of expertise here, but I'm no expert by any means. All of these are just my humble opinions. GFX has a native aspect ratio of the sensor of 4:3 at 102 megapixels, and it's gorgeous. In fact, here's a huge print from this sensor in 4:3, immense detail and colors. By shooting 65:24, we're going to lose the top and the bottom portion of this image, which is still enough, don't get me wrong, but there is a but coming. Why would you do it? The answer is somewhat simple and complex at the same time because of the human nature. To put things simple, for the artistic expression. For example, showcase the scene which otherwise would be mixed with other unnecessary elements from the environment, or accentuate some specific details. You get the idea. So by putting that dedicated dial on the GFX100RF, what did Fuji try to push us to do? Be more artistic and expressive? Okay, I get it. But let me counter that with my hot take. Why only GFX lineup get the goodies? The latest generation of the Fujifilm X has, even though a bit controversial, but still 40 megapixel sensors. Heck, I don't like to be that guy, but even the iPhone starting from iPhone 6 can do it using some apps. Fuji, if you're listening, let people have their fun and deal with allegedly worse image quality after the crop later by themselves. I cropped some pictures from that sensor. They're just fine, especially for the social media. But I digress. So why do I think it doesn't matter on digital that much in this day and age? I think on film it makes a whole lot of sense for things like archiving and printing. You get a huge negative that you can do whatever you want with. Similarly on digital, you're gonna get that huge, gorgeous 200 megabytes or more full RAW file anyway. So shooting with those aspect ratios only makes sense for the preview while shooting, for the future reference while post-processing. But hey, what do I know? Maybe you're that guy who bought the $5K medium format camera to chop 2/3 of a picture and keep the rest in JPEG. Well, you do you, my guy. No judgment here. Here's the quiz from the beginning. How many of these did you guess correctly? And let me know in the comments, are you going to buy that shiny new GFX100RF? And what's your main attraction in that camera? Thank you for the support. Catch you guys in the next one.